We're live.
We look like we're live. It's always funny when you go live because you think you live, but you might not be live, but we are live. So, hey, we want to welcome you guys once again to Marriage Mondays with Living Well Today. My name is Dennis.
I'm Angela, and we're the Bullocks.
We got the founders of Living Well. We got Daniel and Kendra Tillman, our closest.
We in the house.
Life with them. We're in Florida. And they're in Phoenix, Arizona. So if you're looking at this or you're looking at a replay of this, know that we're in two different states. But we always connect and we always have fun. So check this out. Last week we was talking about sex and intimacy. Now we gave a little bit of our perspective.
Baby, let's
And I don't know how some of y'all felt. I don't know if y'all felt like this is discouraging or if this is encouraging. But whatever it is, we was being vulnerable, we're being honest, we're keeping it 100 with you guys. So we just wanted to kind of open up and kind of let you know how life has been for us. But we're going to talk about it from this standpoint today. We're going to talk about how it is now.
Yeah. I love, Kendra, that both of us was like, let's talk about sex. We just, nobody had to tell us. We just hit it. Come on now. Okay,
that's the 90s baby.
Yes, that's right. That's the Gen X.
What just happened?
But I think the last time we talked about just, learning how to be comfortable with each other, negatives as women, like the different things, not feeling very comfortable at certain times with just our own bodies and different things. And now I would say we both are in completely different states. I would say we have very much grown into a place where sex is a really, really great thing. But now I'm dealing with perimenopause. So sometimes I'm a blazing fire. Sometimes I'm freezing. Sometimes I'm sweating. Sometimes. So talking about that's, to me, the changes that happens in marriage of having to go through just different seasons. So I know sometimes we talk about the different seasons. Maybe you lost your job or maybe you lost a parent. But I think you have to talk about the intimacy of maybe my body's just changing. Maybe we're aging. Yes. Maybe we have health issues. And how do we stay connected and intimate with our partner in different seasons of life?
Yeah.
I totally agree. Yeah, because who knew? Like when you get married, we got married in our 20s. Were you guys in y'all's 20s, right? You don't really realize the journey that you're about to take with this person and how much is going to change over time, right? And so, like you said, Angie, the last time we talked more about like that initial season of our life, and now here we are. We all have raised kids. We all have young adults. We all have teenagers. And Angie and I, we going through the change, as they say, right? And so what has that been like for you? And Dennis, for you?
What has it been like for me to go through the change?
No, to experience a wife who is going through the change. Now, so I'm the wife of your youth, right?
Yes,
now I'm the wife of your no longer youth.
Hey,
we just maturing.
What did you say?
I said we just maturing. We're just getting wiser. I mean, I don't really feel like I'm old yet. You know what I mean? I have little speckles of grays, but I don't feel like I'm there yet.
Yeah,
I agree. I don't feel old at all. Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, it has not been a difficult type of thing with, I guess, so-called the change. I think you just kind of, I mean, I know she's, she goes through a lot. It's almost kind of, I hope I don't offend anybody by what I'm about to say.
Oh, Lord.
But it's kind of like when a woman's pregnant and going through labor, it's kind of like, I don't know how you really feel, but I can have empathy for you. I can rub your feet, I can rub your back. That's all I can do right now.
Right.
You're on fire, you're hot and everything like that. All I can do is, you want some ice water? You're gonna put my robe on because it's freezing cold in the house right now, so I just
similar things over here where at night, not only does Kendra, I don't know if she really has a lot of hot flashes. Every now and then she gets hot.
More like the night sweats.
Yeah. And I mean, if you got over there, you'd be like wet.
It's like a blaze. It's like a blazing inferno over there, and then I'm soaking wet. Yeah.
Yeah. I turn over to her spot when she like gets up something like, ooh, what is that? I am so wet.
Trust me, I feel that way too. Like I'll be like, feel like I wake up and I'm like, why am I in a swimming pool right now?
Well, see, she gets
I'm
in
the
the bed.
opposite.
Yeah, she gets in the bed cold,
I'm
so
freezing.
she puts a whole bunch of blankets, and so I sleep hot. So I'm over there like, oh. So I usually sleep with no blankets or anything like that because she got like her robe, she got socks on, she got the regular comforter, and then you got a blanket on top of it. It's like
And
we're
then I
living
got an
in like
additional
Alaska
blanket.
or something
Yeah,
like that.
I usually like my robe, a blanket, our comforter, and another blanket. Because I'm that cold. I'm that cold. Yes.
Wow. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, well, y'all live in, I don't know if it's just different. Each woman is different in terms of whether they're going to be cold or whether they're going to be hot, or if it has something to do with the climate or whatever. But I mean, here in Arizona, you hot regardless. So.
What temperature now do y'all keep the thermostat on in your house?
Well, Aaron's visiting us right now. So Aaron is very, very hot. So we're trying to be hospitable to our guests. So the air is on like 74, 75. Usually I have it on like 77.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and 77 is, I don't know, I guess the humidity hits our air condition. It's really, I mean, it's amazingly cool in our house.
Oh, wow.
And so we don't.
Aaron says it's hot, but for us, it's great.
And then, and every place that you go, the air condition is on jam. I mean, it's like cold in the grocery stores. It's cold in the clothing stores. I mean, it's cold everywhere.
Yeah.
So we don't have to worry about the temperature as far as that's concerned.
But when I visit Phoenix, it's the same thing. I'm cold, and then in the middle of the night I'm hot. So I'm having both. I'll have hot flashes and cold flashes, and I think we just have found ways to deal with it and still stay intimate and still stay connected.
Now when I'm in Phoenix, I have hot flashes. I'm like, my gosh, oh my gosh, what's going on? I can't cool off.
I think that's everybody's reaction when they come to Phoenix.
When they come to Phoenix. So true.
But what I will say in terms of the change and dealing with change, one of the things is, I think Kendra, I can't speak for all women, but I can speak for what I know of my own wife, is that when you get into perimenopause, it's not as easy to maintain your weight, right? And so your weight is creeping up, and it's just something that's happening, during this time. It was like, I heard it's like a pound a year that it'll add if you're not doing something about it. So it can kind of create, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, insecurities as we are aging, and
absolutely.
So that definitely something that we work on, talk about, because one of the things we do is we work out together, or even when I'm not working out with her or she's not working out with me, we're constantly working out, because we've implemented that as a part of trying to maintain our youthfulness, right? Or not allow nature to just take over and do whatever she wants with us, right? So that's something we're a lot more focused on in our older years than we were in our younger years.
And I just want to caution everybody, me and Daniel didn't start working out together until we was 20 years into our marriage, because
we tried.
Because when we used to try to work out when we were younger, we just could not do it.
All I would get would be like cross eyes, like whatever.
Right. Rolling my eyes.
Rolling her eyes.
Because he think he was like my personal trainer. He used to get on my nerves. So But
I tried to be a personal trainer.
Yes, yeah, but you are right. It's like there is like the changes to your body. It's challenging, as a woman, and it feels like as women there are so many things that we are working on all of the time, and now to have our hormones yet again, for women, it feels like your hormones sometimes are like in control of your life, and they just kind of take over. And no matter what you do, taking vitamins, change your diet, working out, drinking more water, getting more sleep, and it doesn't seem to change anything, right? And you don't know how long it's going to last for. And so that can be really hard sometimes.
Yep. And so it brings in questions of, I know sometimes Kendra will ask, are you still attracted to me?
Mm-hmm.
Do you like my body?
Mm-hmm.
Is this too big or is that too small? And I'm like, babe, it's good. We good. You had 3 of my children. We're okay. Right. But I know for some couples that is not their I guess their testimony, where the man is okay, right, with or kind of takes that in consideration. And I think as a husband, it's important to take all of that into consideration. The fact that this is a woman that bore 3 of my children and has been there for me forever. So to belittle or to I guess have wondering eyes and things like that as age is taking over can be detrimental to your marriage. So
especially with you're changing too. Our kids looked at we had a picture from our honeymoon and they were laughing at us. They're like, y'all used to be so skinny. Right? So,
like my parents say, just keep living, baby.
Right. So both of y'all are changing. It's not just the woman, it's just for the women. We're just the ones we have so much change, but men are changing too. And so I think that's a good thing you're saying, Daniel. I think it's taken into consideration. Like, this is the wife of my youth, but I think for some, it might be some women who they were used to their husband being small, and now he's huge, and he's not exercising, he's not taking care of himself, and she don't want to be right. So I think on both sides, it's taking that into thought.
Yeah, I think with age, I think everybody has their insecurities, even though that it might look different for men, and I'm not trying to, throw any type of things. I'm just saying, when you start seeing men, it used to be the midlife crisis, and they get the Porsche, they get the Corvette and stuff like that. Or if they're a single man, older, they're trying to chase a younger woman or something like that. But I think, even in today's culture, tattoos, you're starting to see older people get tattoos, for me, and I'm thinking in my head, it's like, man, what for? Like, it seems like that's, but people are, going through different changes mentally. And there's so many distractions. Our culture pushes you sometimes subtly to this direction, and everybody's trying to run to this particular direction. And then they say, you need to look this particular way. You need to wear this, you need to look like this. And so for me, it's kind of like with my wife, I've always been attracted to you. There's nothing really out there that's like, oh my gosh, because I'm attracted to what I got at home. So it's kind of like, I'm not over it.
Well, I want to ask you and Daniel about that, Dennis, because I mean, y'all are married.
Make sure you say the right thing, Dennis.
y'all are married, but y'all not dead, right?
Yeah.
Right. So you still
dead? Okay.
So you still see women that are attractive. What keeps you attracted to your wife?
That's
like
good.
Yeah, what keeps you attracted to your wife?
When I didn't have absolutely nothing, I drove a Saturn. I pulled her.
And no shade to anybody driving the Saturn.
if you know me, I'm big. I value conversation and having a growth mindset. So for some people I talk to, and I'll get bored easily. I just kind of like, you said something stupid to me, and I'm like, so for me, I have invigorating types of conversations. So there's plenty of attractive women. I mean, you can go online, sometimes you don't know if it's real or not, but whatever the case is, they might be attractive. I'm pretty sure there's attractive men that women say, oh my gosh, you got muscles, you look like this. But at the end of the day, you don't have to get this. You don't get the heart. I'm not going to get the the woman who's going to take care of me when I'm sick, the woman that's going to say, I'm sitting down at the couch and she's sitting right next to me, and I say, hey, can you reach over and get the remote control? I mean, she does it. She's just like, I can't believe you asked me that. You're right. I mean, but she still does it, you know. So I'm like, I put in all this work. I'm not trying to do it with nobody else. So you can look attractive. It's like looking at a car. You know, it's like, ooh, that Porsche is nice. But I can't afford that. So you know, like, you know, it's not worth it. You know, in today's time, it's not really worth it at the end of the day. What I got, my Honda, it's getting me from point A.
So Angie is a Honda.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I told you to be careful.
Don't do that.
You did, man.
All right. Okay. Can we rewind that? Can we stop?
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I know what you're
I'm joking.
I'm joking. See, that's what world does. It changes the narrative.
I know what he's saying though. Because to me, on the other side, I think women could have the same thing. Like, what keeps you attracted to your husband? What keeps you faithful to your husband? For me, it is I made a covenant to God, but even more than that, I feel like when you put the work into your relationship, it's like, why would I want somebody else? Like, because now I'm inheriting somebody else's crazy. And you know what I mean? Like, and are they willing to do work? Are they willing to deal with their childhood? Are they willing to, you know what I mean? Like, we done some stuff, right? And so once you put the work in, it's like, I'm good, because you may look good on the outside, but I tell my kids this all the time. I've met plenty of ugly people who are probably some of the most gorgeous people on the outside. To know them, they are very ugly.
Yes.
And so to me, he's handsome on the outside, but his heart is even more important. And I always say to him too, I love his humility. The thing to me that's very unattractive about certain men is pride and you know, talking about, I done did this, I done done that. That's not attractive to me at all. It's like, dude, I don't care about what you've done. Tell me about who you are. So for me, performance and all that doesn't mean too much. I really want to know, who are you as a person? And that keeps me where it's like, even the thought like, oh, they might be cute, but they, you know, they might be real jacked up. You know what I mean? Or something might be wrong. Like, I'm good, hard pass. So that's, to me, that's what keeps me going.
Yeah, you're not gonna get enough.
I think everybody carries a little bit of sane and a little bit of crazy in them. Right? So you got to choose your crazy and sane and stick with it, right? Because there's an unlimited amount of beauties out there, right? I mean, there's millions, but I already chose mine, right? And we already lived that youthful part of our lives, or we're still in it, but we've lived the 20s, the 30s, the 40s together. And I think I chose well. I chose the booty well. I chose, I chose it all well.
He chose the booty well.
And now, as we are aging, right, and I still like the booty. So, because you know, ultimately, your shape is your shape, and it ain't changed. You might be adding a few pounds to it, or whatever. But it's still in there. It's still under there. And in our older age, we're working it out, right? We're figuring out how to maintain, how to fight, father age, I guess, if you can say it that way. Father time. Yes, we're figuring out how to fight father time. And we're doing it together. And that, I think that is an attractive part of a relationship, right? You're like, we got these problems and challenges that we're facing, and we're facing them together. Including, you know, our aesthetics.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Like, I was thinking the same about, it's a choice. You choose the person over and over and over again. And we have history together, a story that we have created together over the last 30 years, because we've been together for 30 years. We've been married for 27, but we've been together for 30. And I like the story that God has given us to tell, you know, to our children, to people, you know, that we come in contact with. And like, this is, I ain't gonna say what I know, I'm not gonna say it the way I normally say it when I'm talking to my husband when we now online. But my thing is, it's like, a woman's private area that way is we all got one. All women have one.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like,
oh, where is this going?
No,
my thing is always like, I'll look at him and I'll be like, why do men they'll give up everything for some,
The C word. The C word.
Yeah, no. I say use the C word. Yeah, coochie word, right? I'll be like, men willing to bring down whole empires. I'm like reading Samson, reading in Judges, right? I'm reading in Judges the last few days. Samson was his passions for women just overclouded his judgment. He knew what Delilah was doing. He knew she was trying to trap him, right? He knew but it was like you said, the booty and the coochie coo.
It is amazing. It is amazing. But my thing is, this is my perspective. You're going to come up with the same result. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be anything. It's not going to be anything really, really different biologically. It's just like you're going to come up with the same result with this particular person. With this, biologically, you're going to connect, and then that's it. So like I'll just be with.
Yeah, that's what drives me crazy about it, because I'm like, they're all the same. Like they, some might be a little tighter than others. And I was like, but what's around it is what's different, but it's like ultimately it's the same thing. So it's like you willing to give up everything for that? Huh? What'd you say?
I said it's gonna take you to the same place.
Yeah, it's gonna take you to the same place. So all right.
Well,
hopefully this video still stay up.
I think what happens. Are you serious? Do you know what's on YouTube?
You like this is the mild version? What we saying?
That's a good point. You got the clean version, Kendra. But what I wanted to say, I think with Samson, it was the coochie, but it was also ego. Like, I'm that dude. She ain't gonna cut my hair because I'm that dude. And so I think sometimes when you see people walk out on their marriages or maybe cheat or do certain things like that, it's trying to fulfill a need, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So to me, sometimes it's the same coochie, it just look different, but and it's gonna take you to the same place. But I think sometimes it's what's that need that is meeting. And for us, we've chosen when it comes to that need, whether it's ego, insecurities, or whatever, we're still choosing this person, right?
Yes,
and I think that's a choice that you got to make, no matter. We always say in counseling, everybody has coping skills. It's just the question: are they good or bad? Right? Mm-hmm. That's just are they good or bad? And in marriage, you're gonna have all these different seasons. You're gonna have all these different things that happen, whether it's children becoming teenagers becoming young adults, people having jobs, losing jobs, mother-in-laws, father-in-laws, friends who may hurt you and betray you, things like that. I had a very close friend do some stuff a couple of years ago, just devastated my world. And he had to kind of nurse me and be there for me while I was going through that. And it's still like, okay, my spouse is kind of not acting like their normal self because they're going through heartache, but I'm still choosing to be there for you. And I think, to me, that all encompasses intimacy. To me, those are the decisions that you make that help you to continue to stay connected, but also help you to grow in intimacy, because sex is just one part of intimacy. And I feel like sex gets better as you age because it's like, I trust you. You know what I mean? Even if I might feel a little uncomfortable because how things are hanging, right? I still can trust you, right? I can still trust you that you're going to have my back.
I'm just saying, he's like hanging. I'm like,
not like you're kind of hanging, but you know what I'm saying? Things may not be like like they might, they might.
I am perfectly fine. Everything is placed, and I don't know what you're talking about, but y'all think you're.
I think Angie, like they might be in your lap, but they still there.
I see Trina is with us, and she laughing at everything that we're saying. And anybody else that's watching, why don't y'all chime in? Tell us about where you all are at. Like, how long have you been together? And what do you notice? What's different about now versus when you first got together as husband and wife? How have things changed? I'm curious to know what are your thoughts about what is intimacy? Like what does it really mean to be intimate with another person, whether we're talking about emotional intimacy or we're talking about sexual intimacy. Well, I know you have access to all of that, but I'm curious, even without a definition, what do you feel like is?
Add my 2 cents.
Well,
and Angie and Dennis, I would also love to hear from you all from like the counseling that y'all do. Do you find that like when couples are coming to you, what is their understanding of what intimacy is?
So let me throw something that might be a little different because we use these terminologies. Now, again, this is not exclusively mine, but I changed it to a marriage a marriage focus. And so a lot of times, and I'm going to use this in the scenario for intimacy, as she was talking about. A lot of times we live 90% of our time in comfort, convenience, and control. We try to control all these particular areas. Well, like, we talked about sex. Some people try to control orgasms. If we talk about convenient, I want it when I want it, and then comfort, sometimes if I feel okay, then we can go ahead and have sex. So intimacy to me is going to, what do I need to surrender? What do I need to sacrifice? And what do I need to, what's the other one?
So it's surrender, sacrifice, servant, and submission.
Submit to.
All right. So say that again.
Surrender.
I call it the unsexy side of Christianity. It's all the S words in the Bible we don't want to do. So, but it's marriage though. It's marriage. So it's submission, sacrifice, servanthood, and submission. Did I say that right? So servanthood, sacrifice.
Yeah, I usually don't throw servanthood in there, but
it's just serving one another.
Yeah, though. But the thing I wanted to say is with intimacy is involved in that. In order to be really intimate with somebody, you have to sacrifice. You might have to surrender. You might have to submit, in these particular areas. And I feel like it's just the ultimate closeness. It's how we communicate. Even though I may not want to talk about this, in order to get intimacy, I'm going to have to surrender how I feel. I'm going to have to sacrifice maybe watching a football game or, all this other type of stuff. I might have to submit to what she wants versus what I want. And so I feel like intimacy is the ultimate closeness, and it can be in many different shades that you're thinking about. It can be in communication. It can be with sex. It can be with anything. And I just feel like that's my point of view about intimacy.
Right. I think it's just the ultimate trust. It's faith. It's to me, like if you're willing to put faith into it, it includes being vulnerable. It includes trusting. It includes intimacy. And that's kind of how I look at it. It is, I'm trusting you. I am trusting you with things that scare me if it's conversation, right? I am trusting you with my background, right? I'm trusting you with my body. And I may be a little thicker in certain areas, might not feel a certain way, but I'm trusting you. It's like Jesus, it's the bride of Christ and Jesus. He's intimate with us. He knows us better than anybody knows us, but he still chooses us over and over again. He chose us at the cross and he continues to choose us, right? To me, that's intimacy. It is literally like being naked and unashamed, how they were before sin. Like I could literally walk around here butt booty naked and I'm not even concerned about how you gonna judge me, rip on me, or react. And I think sometimes in counseling, what we have to do a lot is helping people learn how to remove the things that hinder safety in a marriage so that your spouse can be trusting of you and be in a place of faith with you so that they can in turn be intimate with you. So I think it all starts with faith, because if you look at your relationship with God, it is, I trust God with hard stuff. Some people don't want to trust God with hard stuff. Some people think God is not a nice person or a mean person. But to me, God is one of the greatest love relationships I have because he's taught me how to love, right? But it's because I've been intimate with him. I've trusted him with some scary stuff, same as I trust my husband. If that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
I think it's a great way to think about it with both of what you and Dennis shared. I think it's a really good way to think about intimacy. What do you think? I just keep thinking about. I've noticed and watched people getting a lot of advice right now from people, and I think it's confusing for people to know what to trust and what to believe. What suggestions do you have for couples that are trying to improve intimacy in their relationship because they know that the trust is missing, and it's not necessarily missing because the other person did something, but maybe it's because of a past relationship before they ever got married. They've been hurt by someone, they've been mishandled by somebody, right? So what would you say couples can do to help strengthen that trust so that you can be naked and not ashamed? You can be vulnerable enough to be physically naked, emotionally naked, to be sexually intimate.
Well,
So I think intimacy. So it involves the sex, but the emotional connection, I think, is the part that where you ask the question, why are men willing to give up everything for the coochie, right? And the thing that I think people don't realize is that it's empty without the connection, and the connection takes time. So if someone is vulnerable from a past experience, the only way to get over that vulnerability is to allow yourself to be vulnerable again. And that vulnerability will strengthen the intimacy over time. It's not, you can't do a one night stand and have intimacy in that. Right? That's just sex.
Yeah.
So even in a marriage, when you first get married, the intimacy is to be developed. It's not an expectation that day one
that's right.
We're intimate.
I agree with that.
No, because intimacy takes experiences.
But I will. This is what I will say though about when you first get married. Hopefully, you have created intimacy up until that point because you wouldn't be marrying that person otherwise, right? If you didn't trust them, so like you don't come into the marriage at ground zero of intimacy. You come in having however long you dated and pursued each other, you come in with some level of intimacy already.
That's a good.
And then hopefully what happens is it gets deeper, right? The intimacy grows and it gets stronger and deeper, and it takes more to kind of break that. With time.
Because I think sex is a very vulnerable place. And I think that's where we mess up, especially in pre-marriage, is we go into vulnerable places that we shouldn't be wandering into, right? Because it's meant, like you said, to take the intimacy that you brought into the marriage and go deeper with that in ways that you shouldn't be playing around with before you get there.
Yeah, I see people open their bodies very quickly, but they're very closed off emotionally. I feel like the body is not really as sacred, and it's a lot of other things that.
That's right, Dennis.
But I feel like people just been like, here, and I don't even know you. Like, you talk about one night stands, you talk about hookups, with people, and you barely know them, and that's kind of like, I want this physical thing of sex, but then when you talk about the emotional state, that people don't even know how to even do that no more. Nobody knows how to communicate how I feel and understand me and being vulnerable. I mean, you talk about a man, he can easily cheat on his wife, and it's not about the emotion. Well, in certain situations, it's just a physical thing. It's just a nut. But then it is
wow. What? Wow. Keep going, Dennis.
Yeah, I miss what you said.
He said it's just a physical thing. It's not about emotion. And I said, yeah, it's just a nut. Real life, right?
Okay, that was
All right, y'all.
inappropriate.
Hey.
I'm just,
Y'all pray for us.
So I felt like it was okay.
all right. We're keeping it 100 tonight. 100.
Angie, you can't get no more gangster than that. He's not on our podcast.
Dennis, what were you trying to say? I know you've been trying to get this out for like 2 minutes now.
I really actually forgot what I was, like, I really had it going, but now it's hopefully it comes back. But I feel like we give up our bodies really quickly, in counseling. And again, I'm not here to judge, but maybe you should have took some time to communicate and maybe get that emotional connection, as you said, Daniel, or that type of intimacy verbally before you give up your body. Because once you give up your body,
I feel like we just see a lot of people nowadays where it's like, I will give a person access to my house, my car, my body, my finances. Like, you can have it all because I'm so needy for love, but I really truly don't know what true, healthy, intimate love looks like. And I feel like it's a very surface thing. Intimacy it goes in depths. It goes past the surface. And so I think for a lot of people, it's a hard place to go, because especially when you're dealing with a generation that has been very hurt, and you have a lot of triggered people and all these different things, vulnerability, trust, intimacy, even with God, even with other people, that's a hard thing to do, because are you going to let me down? Are you going to disappoint me? Are you going to hurt me? And so to me, to go back what you said initially, Kendra, I think it starts with healing. I think a big part in my mind, what healing does is take things that you believe that is true, that is really lies. And what the truth does is expose darkness. The truth sets you free. Why? Because a lot of times when we are hurt, we choose our self-protection and we choose what's going to help us feel comfortable, but it's not always the truth. Some things we think happen are not always the truth. It's coming out of agreement with lies. And as you do that, then you experience freedom. You experience a greater level of joy and intimacy in different things. But you have to, I say this a lot, is I look at a trigger trauma as it's your own personal David and Goliath story. And you have to choose to confront your own giants. And when you do that, it gives you strength. It exposes you to things I didn't think I could ever do that before. I didn't think I could talk to somebody and tell them this, but I did it. And it gives you strength. It gives you peace. I can do that again. I can say no to somebody again. I can expose this. I can talk about this, versus I'm just constantly in a place of self-protection, which honestly equals I don't trust and I'm in fear. So to me, I look at all these things we're talking about as a fear versus faith. Whether it's healing, whether it's marriage, do I trust that even if my spouse lets me down, since we're in a Christian environment, can the God who created me, will he still have my back? Will he, even if it looks like something let me down, is he's kind of like what we talked about that one session, Kendra, is he still a good God at the end of the day?
Yeah, I forgot your original question, but the initial
the thought came back.
The thought didn't come back. I was thinking about just what do we agree upon as a married couple? Yeah. What are our values that we have together? I think we live in such a I have preferences, I have options, and I think that's where sometimes people feel like I can go ahead and leave this relationship because I got options out there.
Or I can just go on social media and have a whole bunch of emotional affairs and you'll never really know about it because I got options.
Yeah. And so it goes back to, man, what do we really agree upon? What are our values? What do we have that we say this is us? And nobody can, this is where we can connect.
Yeah. So
Go ahead.
Sorry, she talked about chandeliers earlier, and so I was giggling on Trina's chandelier comment.
Oh, yeah. I think you bring up a really good point, Dennis, in that one of the things that we share in premarital counseling is covenant versus contract. And what you brought to my mind was these open marriages that are, in our society today. And I think it's important for us to proliferate the understanding that there is a God way to do marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a covenant. It's not it's not transactional, right?
Right.
It's a covering. So I'm coming in, like, I don't get access to you in that way unless I'm coming in a certain way, willing to protect, even die for you, right? So I don't get access to the sex and to the emotional well that's within you unless I'm willing to protect you, from the outside world. Unless I'm willing to commit to you and to nobody else, right? So those are God principles that we should be bringing into our marriage and living by and have agreement on. And I think that brings safety for her, for Kendra, because in our marriage, the reason that I am continually attracted to her, a whole number of reasons, but one is she really adores me. Right? She really has my best interest at heart. She's willing to stand up for me, right? So those things create that connection between us, that bond that has grown over 30 years, that it's going to be hard for somebody else to come in and break. Whereas if she wasn't doing those things, then it would be hard to be emotionally connected. It'd be hard to be having sex, because in your mind, this person doesn't trust me. This person doesn't cover me. This person doesn't have my best interest at heart. And so the bond is weak, right? And so your sex is weak and your emotional connection is weak. Right. So
you just preached the whole sermon right there. You just preached
that's how you make me feel, baby. That's how you make me feel.
All right now.
Drop the nugget.
Yes, that's so good.
Right, but think speaking from a man's perspective, and then as you chime in, it's like that. Those are the things that make your marriage great, right? And make it not be ordinary, not be just something that you're doing, but creates that unbreakable bond that we need as men in our marriage.
Yeah, I think again, going back to your values, you got to believe in that. I wonder how many people
that's good too.
Actually believe in a covenant and
what covenant marriage.
and what that entails. Because commitment could be emotional. I'm committed to the contract. I'm committed to maybe my word. But then, just like you said, when we add the God element to it, it's like, I want to be pleasing to God. And I know no matter what, my love for God, my belief in God, keeps us, in a place where, hey, if I do mess up, if I do make a mistake, I know how to go to God, ask for forgiveness, and then go to my wife or my, whoever, and ask for forgiveness and own up to my responsibility, because I have a covenant mindset with this relationship.
And get help from God too. I think a lot of times in counseling, we meet so many people where it's like they go to church, but that's it. Like, they don't know how to hear God's voice. They don't know how to study the Bible. They don't know how to fish for themselves. So they're coming to other people to get information. But to me, it's kind of like, if you connect all of it, I made a commitment before God. So it's God, then it's you. I made a commitment to both of you, and both of those commitments mean something to me. But if I do fall off, I can go to God and ask for forgiveness. I can go to my spouse and ask for forgiveness. And then the both of us together can come to God and ask for help. How do we fix this? On top of not just like, counseling and books and all those things. To me, the things that God has given us is part of the toolkit of how to keep a marriage strong, how to keep it intimate, how to grow something that could be broken. There's no better counselor or healer than our maker. And he can come in and take something that's really messy and make it a beautiful thing.
Yeah. So you can have the type of sex where you're swinging off the chandeliers type of things, but then
go train.
But things will fizzle out and fade away
after time if you don't have a good foundation.
You can be the best looking person. We see it in Hollywood all the time. You have these beautiful people, what seems beautiful people, and they have money, tons of money, but yet and still they can't keep their relationship together. And so I think there's some elements and some keys in there that I think is tied to the values and what they value and what they believe also.
It's kind of like a lot of times we're trying to do marriage without the person who created marriage, and that's God. So who knows how to work it than him, you know? Than him.
Yeah, Angie, you dropping some gems. You are trying to do marriage. You are trying to do marriage without the person who created marriage. You are trying to.
So let me ask a question, ladies. I guess we can answer it too, but how do you keep spicy? Like, as we are now at this stage of perimenopause, which we're all in, we're in this together.
We all in this together. It's up to us. We can make it better.
So how are we making it happen? How are we making it happen?
Angie, you want to go first?
I think
sorry, I'm typing this in. I'm listening.
I think it's a lot of things. I think it's connecting. I think it is showing him I have his back. I think it's kind of like what you said earlier, Daniel, showing him I care and that he's precious to me. But then I think it's some moments where it's like he not expecting it and I'm throwing some things on the other side. I'm like, come on, let's do this. You know?
Throwing some things.
Close.
Oh.
Angie, what you throwing?
Yeah, what you throwing, Angie? She throwing it in a circle.
we might need
you know what I'm saying? Like unexpected moments, you know what I mean? Of connection, whether it is sex or like this week, I've been doing a lot of holding his hand. And I told him today, I said, I just really love holding your hand. Like your hand is just so special to me. I just love connecting with him and holding his hand like that. But that's what I said to him this week. I said, I don't want him to be thinking like, why she keep grabbing my hand? I'm like, I just really want, I just really want to hold your hand. Like I've just been grabbing it anytime I can because I want to connect with my spouse. Look.
Grabbing his hand.
Oh, I remember.
They was talking.
Oh, we still talk. We still talk. For a minute.
That's funny. So
her hands are cold.
They are. But I will say, even though, secret going into the secret, why they say we be talking. So we they gave me a birthday party. Was that my 40th birthday party?
Yeah.
That was my 40th birthday party. Wow, that was 10 years ago. And he was giving this big, really great speech about why I'm special to him. He said, because we talk and talk and talk for hours. And everybody in the party was like, y'all
hours.
For hours. But we really honestly do. Like we connect a lot that way too.
It's funny that both of us work from home now. And so I try to have my little time of trying to talk to her. And she'd be like, I got a meeting. I got to go. I'm like,
She's like, bro, buddy, don't even start. You know, one of the things I wrote down is that friendship, like I feel like you can never lose that in your relationship. Like that has to be the highest priority. Like you have to maintain that, because when you think about it, when you were falling in love, right? You were building a friendship with this person, and that's how you ended up falling in love with them, right? Because you genuinely like them as a person. And then, then you get to be friends with benefits when you get married, right? And so I would say, like, in terms of spice, like I initiate more, like not just since I've knew for sure that I was in perimenopause, but even before that, because I wanted him to know that I desired him as much as he desires me. So sometimes if I know it's been a few days, I will initiate, not because I'm like turned on. I will initiate because this is the person that I want to know that I love him. I care about him. I enjoy being near him and close to him. So for me, like that's another way. The another way I would say is keeping my body healthy and strong. Like, that is so important to me. Like, there is a quality of life that I want to have, and I want us to have it together. And I want us to enjoy getting older. Like, I don't want us to feel dread about getting older. Like, oh, our life is over. Our sex life is over. Nothing is going to be good from this point on. We just going to be settling, just getting, just getting by. But I wanted to keep getting better and better and better. And so to me, like, that's one of the way. And then the last thing I'll say is learning how to, it's not always about getting to a climax. I think you said this the last time that we talked last week. It's the intimacy, the skin, like, like Angie, you talking about holding his hand, right? Mm-hmm. It's like just being near the person, feeling their body next to yours. That connection, like, that's why when we have our marriage events, we have a 6-second kiss that we encourage couples to do, because that keeps the connection. So, right now, when you're watching this, we want to encourage you to give your spouse a 6-second kiss. Pause and give them a 6-second kiss. It helps. Like, for women who've ever nursed, if you've ever nursed a baby before, you know that your body releases oxytocin, which helps you relax. It reduces stress. It helps you bond, right? And so that's what a 6-second kiss does, is it helps release the oxytocin. It helps you bond with each other. And so I would challenge you, if you have an issue, like if you go to kiss your spouse for 6 seconds and you feel any kind of way other than a closeness to them, that is like a sign to you, hey, we need to check in with each other, because something is not right. Something is off. Like, I can't kiss you for 6 seconds because maybe I'm mad, I'm frustrated. Maybe there's something going on between us. Maybe I'm exhausted, I'm tired. I don't even want to think about, like that could be your cue. Hey, we need to check in with each other because something is going on with us.
I think I wanted to for men, when you said initiation, I think a lot of men when they listen to this, they're gonna probably be doing cartwheels. Yes, because I think a lot of times you hear with men is that I'm always doing the initiation. So, can you initiate? And then as we get older, for me, I've gained a lot of weight. And so, it does feel good to know that you're still wanted,
yes.
or even the compliments for men. That's another way that you can spice things up, saying, oh, you look good in that. And it's kind of like, no, you playing with me. No, you look good. So just as much as women need compliments, sometimes we need to stroke our ego. You need to stroke our ego sometimes.
Yes.
And
that's good, Dennis. That's good.
That's what I meant by throwing stuff. That was my code word for initiate.
Oh, that was your code word for initiate. Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Oh, I got it.
Yes,
I thought you were talking about throwing yourself up on the altar or something, man.
You a mess. You did not think she was talking about throwing us up on the altar.
The altar
of the bed, the bedroom
altar. Yes. Like, here I am.
And you know what? And I'm glad, I like the examples that we all use, because I think that whenever people ask us, ask you about spices, people always, go buy you some lingerie or put on some music. But I do like your lingerie. That stuff is great too. But I do think the other stuff that we talked about, your friendship and the physical touch and initiation in the bedroom, all of those things, I think those things are how you do.
I think it brings out the fact that it's more than the physical attraction.
Yes, that's right.
Right, that spices it up, because they are just like we talk a lot about. Women are crock pots and men are microwaves. The whole crock pot thing is the stoking of the fire from within.
That's right.
Right. That you can't put on lingerie or anything like that to bring that to a boil. So it takes conversation, praise, those things, that emotional I guess would be emotional, sexual, or emotional intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It makes it easy, right? If you're holding my hand, if you're giving me compliments, if we're having real conversations, it's not surface. If the house ain't tense, we talk to a lot of couples, the house is tense. They don't, they don't even like being around each other.
Yeah.
We've had sessions with people where we're talking to them just about that. Like, let's forgive each other and let's focus on forgiveness so we can get back to a place of even being able to be open to each other, but like each other. Because right now, y'all don't like each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're very open about it. You don't like each other. So if you don't like each other, if you're offended with each other, if you're angry with each other, if you haven't forgiven past offenses, because in marriage, to me, it's real easy to just be tagging them jokers along, meaning like, you did this, you did this, you did this, it can just build over time. So to me, it's the complete opposite. What we're talking about is building that intimacy. If you held my hand, you touched my cheek, you gave me compliments.
Yes, that's right.
You told me about how this made you feel. And it's just growing in a positive way, where the other piece of it is, you yelled at me, or I don't know, you slammed the door, or you didn't come home, or whatever. It's just growing. And we have to be intentional when we see things like that building, to break them down, just as much as we have to be intentional in building up the crock pot / microwave type thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, you got to be very, very intentional. And then what was when we was younger, we was very creative. I mean, we thought about doing things with our
That's so good. Mm-hmm.
and our wives. And then when we get some years in, kids and all that type of stuff, it's just kind of like we lose the creativity. I remember one time I said to my wife, and I don't know why I said it, and I was like, "Oh, I wish I didn't say that." But it was a good learning moment for me. It really was. I said I was like so stupid, and I said, "Well, when we go out go out on our date nights, like why are we always going out to eat?" And she looked at me like, "What?" But she's like, "Okay, well, why did you plan?" So I think plan a date. And so I was like, gosh, I'm like,
because I was the one who was planning all the time. So I was like, I'm not even trying to diss, but if you don't like what I'm planning, why don't you take some turns to plan, and then we'll go from there.
So right. Go ahead and out there and start planning some of the date nights. Now, I know some of y'all, you're on a whole nother level with your creativity, but some of us who are, creatively, challenged, start get on the internet and start thinking of some creative things. You don't have to spend a lot of money, and start, thinking about a date night, because I know a lot of y'all want the initiation, but initiate some of that other stuff, like, taking
Come on, you better preach.
to the museum, take her out to a live jazz show, a walk in the park, do something spontaneous that she's not expecting. And then maybe
I got one. Find out what her love language is, and if it's acts of service, do the dishes.
Love it. Whatever. So, yes, and learn her love language. Learn each other's love language.
Dishes.
Dennis, after you complained about her always planning eating out, what was your plan?
Oh, he did really good.
So we went to a museum out here that's beautiful. It's off the river, and it has a garden in the back. And so it was a free. So I happened to look it up, and it was free to get in. And so we went to the museum. We took some pictures, did some walking around, and all that type of stuff. And then we went out to eat afterwards.
It was great.
So
it was great.
So
it was beautiful. I love like being outside and gardens and all that stuff. It was absolutely gorgeous. So it was like a historical house that was renovated to become a museum, and then they had like, in their backyard, they had these 3 huge gardens, almost like mazes. It was amazing. He did a good job. Good job, baby. Good job.
Amen.
I guess that's important for him to know that you like that.
Yeah, and to compliment when your spouse does initiate something. If you want them to keep doing it, here's a tip: compliment them, thank them for it. Don't criticize it. Like if they planned the date, even if it wasn't like some uber romantic thing, but just the effort and the love that they put into it, show appreciation, and it'll make them want to do it again versus if you nitpicking and, well, I thought we was gonna do something else. Like, like don't do that.
So right. Appreciation is a game changer.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trina said, love when my husband is cleaning or fixing something. Love, 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 love. And I remember that because we just got this new dishwasher because the other dishwasher was acting up. And so we had these, like, in the garage, we had these like spiders that have been, it's like they eat their prey and then they just leave their bodies, leftover bodies. And so
carcasses.
So Angie's like,
carcasses everywhere.
Yes.
Slowly trying to say, we need to clean the garage. She didn't say go and clean the garage. She said, we need to clean the garage.
Yeah.
We need to clean the garage.
I was down to help because it was little like dead carcasses all over the place.
So I had to go and take the shop back, and I cleaned them up. And she's like, I said, hey, Angie, I cleaned up all those carcasses and everything like that. She's like, thank you. But what she was really saying, finally, I've been saying all these.
Hey, she said thank you. That's what she meant. She said thank you. She meant thank you.
I was so happy because I was down to help. So I was like, wow, you did it without me. I was so appreciative. The garage looks awesome.
Love, love, love.
Right. Well, we are wrapping up. I think this was good. I enjoyed our conversation tonight. And yeah, sure. Honey.
If you are watching this on replay, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook, drop us a comment and let us know you're watching on replay so we know you're out there and hanging out with us.
Yeah, y'all have actually been typing replay, and that makes my husband very happy that you are letting us know that you are watching on replay, because that does help to know like when you watch this. And so we are going to wrap up. We want to encourage y'all. I'm gonna do like a video or something just specifically around our upcoming event in December. I'm telling y'all, you're gonna be mad at yourself if you miss this event. It is going to be amazing. I don't even want to try to tell you how amazing it's going to be right now, but I promise you it will be such a fun experience for you and your spouse. We want to love on you. We want to love on your spouse. We want to give you an opportunity to love on each other. This is a great way to wrap up the year together, celebrating all the Lord has brought you through over the last 12 months together. And so this is a celebration. And I want y'all to know, we take into consideration every bit of feedback that we get about our events, and we make adjustments based on your feedback. And so we hope that you will come. And not only do I hope that you will come, I hope that you will encourage another couple to join you at the event. It is going to be amazing and fun. And so the details for that, you can find them over on Faith Christian Center's website, our church's website, fccphoenix.com, under the calendar tab, or you can use the link that is scrolling through the bottom of the screen, bit.ly/Winter Wonder Lunch. And that will also give you the details. Or if you need, I'll type it also in the comments just in case somebody needs it. So next week, it won't be our regular Marriage Monday. It'll be a prayer next week, because it's the third Monday of every month is prayer of praying for your marriage. Will be here. And so it'll probably be the guys, because me and Angie did October, right, Angie? So the guys will do the November prayer next week.
Yeah.
And me and Dennis like,
Oh. All right. And so any final last words before we close this out?
So like Dennis was saying, fellas, if you're looking to initiate date night,
yes,
all you got to do is pay for the ticket,
babe.
And your wife gonna be real happy. So come on out.
And women, we love opportunities. Most of us, I can't speak for everyone, but we love dressing up. So this is an opportunity to put on your best of your best. She can get her hair done, hopefully all that stuff. So it's an opportunity to buy the ticket and give your wife an opportunity to get all dialed up.
Yeah, we'll have some fun, y'all. It's always good connecting with friends and family and people that we haven't even met. And so we're just going to have a great old time. And so invest in your marriage, invest to this date night. So it'll be a wonderful time.
All right. So, hey, y'all. It's scrolling across the bottom of the screen. You can link to that. And until next time, we love you guys. Peace and hair grease.
Peace, y'all.
Good night.
Bye, y'all.